Okay, we're back with a Celonis podcast mini-series with JP Thomson. We talked about disruptive trends last time. This time we're going to dive in on digital transformation, which you called a digital tsunami.
Yes, let's dive in. Everyone is going digital. It could be what I call digital business optimization. So whether you're improving your productivity, your revenue, or let's say your customer experience, or digital business transformation. So there we're talking about net new revenue services through entirely new business models. Now, the catch is that going digital does not necessarily mean that you're improving the quality of your decisions and your actions. What are the reasons that our customers are telling us that are holding them back? This increasing number of transactional systems, and that's due to a best of breed approach where you like to pick the best system for the task at hand. And at the same time, this disintegration of data that leads to through all these different systems that are only partially integrated. And the analytical systems that you use to bring that data together, to create reports are only, partially solving the problem, right? Yes, you can create great reports, but it's really also about this question, so what? So you have a bunch of reports. What do you do about it, right? Data can be subjective. So two people looking at the same report might come up with different conclusions. And also it's that link to action. So, what do I do about this now? And people will come up with all kinds of ways of tackling issues there. So I think that's how, we see this challenge of bridging that great divide of data disintegration.
Okay, we're back with a Celonis podcast mini-series with JP Thomson. We've gone through digital trends. We've been through digital transformation. Talk about some customer pain points, JP.
Absolutely. So let me start with this overarching pain point that we see across all our customers, which is operational friction. I mean, operational friction is costing companies millions or billions of dollars, right? And it is caused by a variety of things. For one, error-prone, complex processes, and that's due to a zoo of different systems and tools that you have in place as an organization. Secondly, it's around all this manual work around repetitive, mundane tasks that could be automated, and thirdly, it's what our customers are calling a rigid operating model. So it's the lack of ability to steer your organization in a data-driven way. And so that's what customers are telling me most of all.
Okay, we're back with a Celonis podcast mini-series with JP Thomson. We've been through disruptive trends, through digital transformation, and through customer pain points. It's only fair for you to provide a solution at this point. Let's talk about process mining.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when talking about process mining, I want to compare the old way of tackling these kinds of issues, like error-prone, complex processes, manual work, and a rigid operating model, versus the new way, the process mining way to tackle these issues, right? So what does the old way look like? I mean, the old way, you'd get out a bunch of Post-it notes, you'd sit together in a workshop, right, and try to map out the process. And what I'd argue is that that's, a subjective approach. It's going to be time-consuming. It's going to be costly, right? And also, it's only giving you a one-time snapshot of how things are going. And by the way, if you ask 10 different people of what you could about what you could improve in a process, you're going to get 10 different answers, right? So what's the new way? The new way is process mining. The new way is an objective, getting an objective, complete picture, an understanding of how things are running. It has to be immediate, meaning, based on real-time information. You have to be able to self-service, so as well. And then I think last but not least, it's also about continuously analyzing and improving processes. So that's what I mean with process mining and the new way to approaching these issues.
We are pretty deep now into our podcast mini-series with Celonis. JP Thomson, thanks for bringing us through some disruptive trends, digital transformation, customer pain points, and process mining. To help folks out, if you wouldn't mind, if you'd map back maybe the solution to the customer pain points for us.
So let's take a brief look at at the pain points we were discussing. Error-prone, complex processes, across a variety of systems. What Celonis does is to automatically collect all the relevant data that's needed to uncover end-to-end process flows across your organization. So that's the first one, right? The second one, unnecessary manual work. So that's really about, not only uncovering process flows, but uncovering points of friction and suggesting intelligent actions to take. And the third one is, really about this rigid operating model we discussed. And that's where we say, with the help of a solution like Celonis, you can monitor and steer your organization with the help of, tracking key metrics, benchmarking both internally as well as externally with other organizations, but also making sure you're conform with rules and regulations. Let's take SOX compliance as an example.
We're back, and sadly, in our final installment of the Celonis podcast mini-series. We've been through disruptive trends. We've been through digital transformation, customer pain points, process mining, solutions for those customer pain points. And now it's time to go back out big picture. JP Thomson, thanks for doing this. What are your lessons learned? What have they been along the way?
Absolutely. So, I'd say first and foremost is how do you break down, big complex problems into simple problems with the help of technology, right? So at the end, it's all about simplicity that paves the way. But also, it's what I call the feedback loop. So learning, from in the moment, from yesterday, in order to then, and this is the third key, learning and best practice on my end is looking forward. So, taking what you've learned in the past, and this is what we do at Celonis, and I can recommend to everyone, and looking forward, and moving forward at a rapid pace.
JP Thomson, thank you so much for being with us for this Celonis podcast mini-series. Very much appreciate your time. Looking forward to checking in with you down the line.
Thank you so much, Seth.